keto versus carnivore versus low carb, high fat, and why a ketogenic diet will always win out over the other two. Welcome everyone, welcome to my very humble channel. Now let's deep dive, get right into this. Why do I choose a ketogenic diet over a carnivore diet or a low carb, high fat diet? And I want to break it down so you guys understand why keto will always win. Always. A ketogenic diet is always going to win and beat out carnivore, low carb, high fat, or even the standard American diet, or even the vegan diet. Well, let's not even talk about that. But yes, it will always beat out these other diets. It's the diet that I've chosen to practice in my life for the last 16 years because I see the enormous benefits from being ketotic. Is being ketotic normal in nature all the time? Of course not. That's why I am my own N=1 experiment and everybody doing keto for a long time. In this video, I want to break down all three diets and show you why keto clearly beats out the rest. Let's start with a keto diet. A keto diet is a high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet, and the point is to drive ketosis, to put your body into a ketotic state where your body uses its own fat as fuel. A carnivore diet, classic carnivore diet, the idea was or is to eat a heavy meat-based diet, not so much focus on high fat, no carbs at all, right? No vegetable carbs, no cellulose, no fibrous plants. This is a carnivore diet. And a low carb, high fat diet, because people are still asking me, what is it? It is still a starch based diet. That means you're still eating potatoes, potentially rice, sweet potato, red potato, not the white potatoes, parsnip. You can still have a little bit of fruit like berries. You can have carrots, most likely raw carrots. These are the types of foods that you would consume, plus the meat, plus the fat, right? It's lower in carbohydrate, higher in fat than you would a standard American diet. A low carb, high fat diet is going to be obviously higher in carbs than keto, lower in fat than keto, and moderate protein. Which diet would suit you best? And you have to look at your own individual health situation because you're all different. Not one body is the same, and we sort of start similar as children, and then we are exposed to garbage our entire lives. This damages your body, damages DNA, damages even your self-perception. If you're tired can create depression, moodiness, and this also has a direct effect and impact on the way your body will respond to life stresses. I chose a ketogenic diet because my mom was going through an aggressive cancer called a glioblastoma. I did the diet to encourage her to do it so we could do it together. I kept doing it. Now, she did it for a couple of years and then stopped. I kept going. I wanted to see how long that I could go without eating any starches and sugars because in nature, that is not natural. Being in ketosis or being ketotic all the time is not normal in nature. It's a bit of an outlier. If you don't have the right understanding of your existing health or how to formulate a ketogenic diet, It's not a dietary measure that you would want to be on all the time, because you've got to balance everything constantly to be ketotic. And a lot of people just don't do that in this very fast world that we live in. If you're living in a small village and you have fresh meat and you're eating organs and fat and the fatty bits of the animal, or you're eating butter and you're having vegetables, your cruciferous family, this would be considered a ketogenic diet. But people are living in the modern world, going 100 miles an hour, wanting snacks. They want to just go someplace and stop and grab a bite. Nobody wants to sit down anymore and eat, rest, and digest. People have a lot of health issues as modern humans. We're not hunter-gatherers, and our bodies react differently now to life stress. If you were a hunter-gatherer and you were going through feast or famine, if you weren't eating, you would rest. You would commiserate. You would be communal with your people. We don't do that. We live on little lonely islands of ordering our food or going to the market and just grabbing something, or dare I say, even eating fast food. We're exposed to chemicals, toxins. Our bodies, we walk the wrong way, we work out, we use our bodies just in the wrong way. Not everyone, but most people. We learn how to walk, sit. All of these things are done incorrectly. Squat. Ooh, when I see a child squat, I'm like, I'm so jelly. Today, I'm doing the N=1 experimentation to be in ketosis all the time. What are the benefits? Simple. Sustained energy. All day long. It's like sticking wood into a fireplace or a couple logs and walking off and letting it burn evenly and slowly throughout the day. Eating carbohydrates is like putting paper into a fireplace, and it's just going to burn really hot, really fast, and it's going to burn out. And every time the fire burns out, you got to stoke it and burn it again, and it flames up. That's your metabolism. So people have issues with dysglycemia. Their blood sugar's bouncing. They don't sleep well. They wake up in the middle of the night. Hypoglycemic, don't realize it. Drinking coffee in the day to cover up a lack of better sleep or consistent energy, but they'll always tell you that they love the taste when they don't realize it's actually the body, that the cells, the generation of cells that are actually telling the brain to like the smell and the taste and the routine to keep you addicted to the caffeine when you have no energy. Keto is very sustained. It's amazing how before, when I ate carbs, if you don't hit that dietary window of stabilizing your blood sugar, like eating every couple of hours perfectly, you crash. And it doesn't feel good to crash. Or if you go to the gym, you don't have enough energy, like, yes, 20 minutes later, no. Yes, no. Whereas being ketotic, being in ketosis, it's like you can get through a 3-hour workout, like, not even a problem. The next thing that I love is the mental clarity. Your brain is so lit on ketones. Memory, focus, cognitive reasoning, it's awesome. And also feeling very even. It is so powerful to have a mental balance, whereas when you're running on like carbs, the crash, the tired creates moodiness, you can't think properly, and the body is so connected to the power of the mind that if you're tired, you're not going to heal properly if you don't have that positive mental balance or focus. Whereas being ketotic, you're like lit, you're sharp, you're ripe, you're ready, you feel amazing. This is why I've chosen to be in ketosis all the time. And of course, the other benefits are healing better, having balanced blood sugar. Losing the blood sugar swings means that you're going to sleep better. You're going to work out stronger. You're going to have more stamina. It's going to help your endocrine system freaking be amazing. Woo, the endocrine system, especially your reproductive hormonal system. Being ketotic means that your body's running on fat, and you eat fat, cholesterol. The whole cholesterol thing, they got us so confused and so scared when really it's carbs and sugars, spikes of glucose and insulin, that glycate, that's the heart problem. The fat is amazing for your brain, for your skin, for the production of your reproductive hormones. That's the 3 estrogens, progesterone, and the building of testosterone through cholesterol in things like butter, egg yolks, and certain fatty meats, fatty cuts of meat. But yet we are taught that cholesterol is bad, so people will do a ketogenic diet and feel like they're gaining weight. It's not the fat that's clogging the arteries or making you gain weight. It's stress. It's never being able to balance your blood sugar on a ketogenic diet and then continuing to eat no carbs. And then your dysglycemia gets bigger. The bouncing of the blood sugar gets worse. But the pitfalls, let's get into it. If you don't eat enough fat and eat too much protein, you're not going to make enough ketones. And that's why a lot of people give up and they quit. They never get to ketosis land and reap these amazing benefits, right? Getting stronger, getting younger, essentially, protecting the telomeres on your DNA. But the pitfalls. This can be chronic dehydration because you're losing so much fluid via the kidneys. And I mean all the time. It never ends. I pee more now than I ever have before. That means I have to stay hydrated. So in this little glass right here, we have some bentadynamite clay. You guys know that's my code word. You have to stay hydrated. You have to balance your electrolytes. So not being dehydrated is not just about drinking water. It's about minding your magnesium, potassium, sodium intake. Without balancing the rest of them, you could drink water all day and still be dehydrated. That is the caveat. That is the biggest problem. That is the one where you're like, I really have to be on my minerals. But if you are, the ability to anti-age and protect your DNA so you don't age like a rotten apple and oxidize, because blood sugar bouncing around all the time or getting really, really hungry in the evening, your body was already needing that fuel, but you didn't give it to the body because you're on some fasting trend. Oh my goodness. Every time your stomach's like, and your blood sugar becomes bouncy or dysglycemic, you're damaging cells. Being in ketosis, like I mentioned before, is like sticking a log on a wood stove, which I'm going to get from a house, or a fireplace and letting it burn easy and even so you don't crash, wake up, or have low energy or lose your strength or lose your reproductive hormones or rob from pregnenolone or DHEA. Most people can adapt. The ones that I think cannot are the ones that have a gallbladder problem, because that's the other caveat. That's the other dropping of the foot. Like, your gallbladder must function properly. It doesn't matter if it's on a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet, because both you need to be high fat. I know classic carnivore was in the beginning. Carnivore, they said, oh, just eat a bunch of protein and prime and all this nonsense. But really it's about being ketotic, because you cannot get a good quality energy from protein. Your body gets energy from fat or carbs. And carbs damage the body, because in nature, we wouldn't have all those carbs. And our insulin's spiking constantly on today's processed carbs. So if you're going to do low carb, high fat, then you might want to do sweet potato or red potato in small amounts, or rice with fat and protein, because rice on its own does not have enough fiber to really slow down digestion. But small amounts of rice, sweet potato, parsnip, these things that you can put, and the fats are going to be higher than a standard American diet but lower than a ketogenic diet. So ketogenic diet baseline is 200 grams of fat, and low carb high fat can go down to around 100 to 120. That's a really nice amount of fat added. I don't mean in the frying pan, I mean on the plate. And I'm not talking about avocados and plant fats. I'm talking straight up animal fat. This is why a ketogenic diet for me will always win over a carnivore diet or a low carb high fat diet, because with carnivore, classic carnivore, you're not eating any plants, which means you lose the ability to balance microbiome, because eating a little bit of fiber, not to poop. A lot of you dogmatic carnivore people are like, blah, 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 said you need no fiber. And I'm like, that person's not God. Fiber, prebiotic fiber like asparagus, will help balance the microbiome, because the gut bacteria attaches onto the prebiotic fiber to stabilize it. And when it's not there, people tend to drop their diamine oxidase, which is their antihistamine. They start to bloat on foods they never bloated on before. People do carnivore to deal with like inflammation, and it's great in the beginning, but too much of it will have a rebound effect, like you see with veganism. In the beginning, it's like, oh my God, it feels so amazing. And then after a while, people are like, oh my God, I feel like crap. It's the same, like opposite, but the same parallel kind of crazy reality where people get too obsessed with carnivore and trying to get their electrolytes, their salt, their electrolytes, their magnesium from meat. And you look at these people over time, busted. So that is why also with like adding an avocado to a ketogenic diet, or being an avivore or like an avocado carnivore, is great, because you can still get that potassium that you need and a little bit of fiber, a little bit of monounsaturated fat, not the three animal with the polys and the saturates, but you get a lot of monos. Now with that said, you need all three to be ketotic. Olive oil and avocados are not going to put you in ketosis, nor will coconut oil or MCT oil. I want you guys to really, 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 really check where your health is before ever doing a ketogenic diet. Make sure that your gallbladder is functioning properly. Make sure you don't have any severe histamine issues. So if you're constantly eating mono foods, that's a bad idea. Make sure that if you have a thyroid problem, that your cruciferous vegetables are cooked well, because they can be goitrogenic. Everything's a balancing act. But once you understand the balance, keto beats out the other 5 billion percent. Like, it just beats them out. The reason why anyone would do a low carb, high fat diet instead of keto is because their gallbladder is not working, or their hypoglycemia is so bad and they're not eating enough fat, or they're not getting their stress down to be able to be in ketosis, because being in ketosis is very difficult, especially in the beginning. But once you get the combination, you're golden. It's amazing. But before that, trying to find the combination, it can be a hot mess to be doing a ketogenic diet. Low carb, high fat is a diet where people still binge, still have candida issues, fungal issues, but and sometimes it makes them hypoglycemic even more to keep starches. And some people just do better with no carbs. Everyone is different. You got to figure out what diet works for you. I wanted to do a positive video about being in ketosis, that I've done this for 16 years. I plan on not eating any carbs whatsoever and taking this ride as far as I can go, because these doctors keep saying you can't be ketotic that long, you'll develop diabetes. I mean, stop, quit, stop guessing. And what's so amazing is that I've now worked with people for years. I've got people 6, 8 years. I've got people who've been on my channel following me for years saying, thank you, Stephanie, I did the ketogenic diet and I've stuck with it, and these are the benefits. So I've actually had a chance to witness not only thousands of clients, but also people who just follow me and report back to me and say, hey, I've done this and this and this, and this is the outcome, and I'm still going strong. If you guys want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com. You can book a consultation, or you can sign up for my course where I cover all 3 diets, a monthly membership. You can also go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. I should just change everything to Stephanie Person. Or you can go to my Facebook fan page at Stephanie the Business Person. And I'm out because now I got to edit this video. And I got to work on more videos like MTHFR. And somebody said, when you do your challenge, please put in how to graduate into ketosis, or how do you do the low carb high fat diet, including macros. So I will try to include all of that in this course for those who are bouncing between the 3 for different reasons. Carnivore to get down inflammation or skin issues, keto to keep your blood sugar balanced, your brain amazing, sex hormones amazing, inflammation down, and which it's very similar. Keto is very similar to carnivore, except you still have that prebiotic fiber that's so important to balance gut microbiome. Or there's low carb, high fat for those who've got a gallbladder issue and they need to work on their gallbladder or their blood sugar, dysglycemia, or thyroid before going back into ketosis land. And I'm out. It's time to go. It's going to be cold tonight. Got the heater blasting. That annoying sound in the background, that's my heater. Feels so good though. I'm out. Peace.